The Wedding Part 2 is the 19th episode of the 4th season of Full House. This is directed by Zwick, and as always there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode and share some thoughts. It's a really great episode. It starts off with Michelle giving the recap, which is adorable, and then we pick up where we left off with Jessie hanging in the tree. And what's really interesting about this episode is that they could have really lent into the drama, really keeping us on our toes until the end to see if Jessie would make it to the church. But they actually resolved this pretty quickly, and I'll talk about that in a moment. And then we just get this huge chunk of time where we just get to celebrate Jessie and Becky. And it's drama-free, and it's really beautiful, and it's really well done. They could have made it more dramatic, but instead they went with the celebration, and I think it was the right choice. Jessie drops into a tomato truck, and unfortunately, he makes a bad decision. He tries to steal the truck to get to the church. Not exactly a wise thing to do, and he ends up getting arrested. And the cop doesn't actually believe that he's going to his wedding. And he phones Becky. We're at the wedding, and Becky is obviously very worried, kind of also annoyed, but I like the fact that she's mostly more concerned about Jessie for his safety. I imagine a lot of people, maybe myself included, I'm not sure, but they'd be very annoyed at what Jessie had done, because this is his own fault. He didn't have to go parachuting on the morning of his wedding, but Becky is genuinely concerned for his safety, and as soon as she gets the phone call from him in jail, she rushes to his rescue, and we do have this fabulous moment where Jessie is talking to the officer saying it's my wedding day, and the officer is saying no, it's not. Nobody would jump out of a plane on their wedding day. And just as they say that, Becky comes in, and we have this really sweet moment where Jessie explains, I just wanted one last adventure. And Becky says, what do you mean one last adventure? The adventure is just beginning for both of us. And it's so sweet, and it's so true. It's a different kind of adventure, but it's still something that they can enjoy together. And she even said, if he really wanted to jump out of a plane, let her know, and she'll put on a parachute and jump with him. And it was just so beautiful. And then it got a little bit strange where they decided to drive a bus to the church, and they get there and Michelle comes running down the aisle, and then the wedding begins, and Michelle runs out of flowers, and it's absolutely adorable. And they get married, and Jessie sings Forever on the piano, and it's beautiful. And then we see their childhood photos, and then we have this montage of clips of them together, and honestly, I got a little bit emotional. It's very, very well done. And then they're back at the house. Everybody's having a great time. Michelle and Howie are dancing together, and it's really sweet. Beautiful, atmospheric. The cake looked gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. And then it ends with Jessie and Becky riding off on the motorcycle, and it's absolutely stunning. And as I said, they could have made it more dramatic. They could have carried on keeping things quite suspenseful, not really sure whether they'll get to the wedding on time or not, but they didn't. They resolved it relatively quickly, and then just gave us, I'd say, about half of the episode to just enjoy Jessie and Becky and their relationship. And it's so sweet, and it's really beautiful, and honestly, I thought it was fabulous. The Wedding Part 2 and The Wedding Part 1, they're both really great episodes. Really glad they were two-parters. That's not always the case with sitcoms or any kind of TV show. Sometimes they'll have two-parters, and they really don't need to be two-parters. But actually, with this one, I think it made a lot of sense, and I rather enjoyed it. The Wedding Part 2 is definitely a really beautiful episode of Full House.